My name is Fabrice. So many people call me Farb Mk. Yes, I'm from the University of Nairobi, Kenya Science. I'm a student, a fourth year student to say. I do education, mathematics and chemistry. So that means I'm supposed to graduate to be a teacher of mathematics and chemistry. There are some characters we learn. You know, when a child is very small, they learn things. So things that they are exposed to. So when your child is playing outside and they have a disagreement, and the first thing the child does is to fight, is to create a fight, then that directly tells you that child saw it, not with anybody else, but with you. So in my case, my brother and I, we have been on good terms when we are Form 1-ish. But when we were little, we used to fight a lot. That is something that we learned from somewhere. And I really want to truly appreciate my parents for bringing us up. They have also done their best. And I am so glad that I am this person today. With all the mountains and valleys and so many things, darkest scenarios in my life, they have taught me to be the kind of a person I am today. But at the same time, I just want to caution that anything you say, or if you throw a hand to your partner, your lovely wife, your lovely husband, you say things assuming no one is watching. There is always someone who is watching, especially if you have children in the house. They will say things, they will do things because they saw you doing them. My dad used to take portions of alcoholic drinks. When he's gone, I used to do the same. If I would see my parents disagreeing on something and then they just talk it out, then that is what I would do. But that is not what I did. I resorted to violence because it's what I saw around me. Not only from my parents, but also to my neighbors. If something happened, kama ungemkosea baba yangu ni simba. And Dad, I love you for that actually. So, ukimkosea baba yangu, his hand is fast than even words. Yeah? His hand is so fast. And that's what we did. So if anyone angetukosea shule, our hands was fast. In Form 2, I was involved in a fight, really. And my dad was called in school. So I was just listening. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? And then he went against me. And then I said, "Wah, umeamua?" We stayed in the same house. We were not talking. Because my parents, they still are so good. But at the same time, there are some decisions they have made that have really affected me. I was not able to think twice. Ukinikosea, it's either we fight. I was not wordy because my dad is not wordy. Yeah, his hand is steadfast. So I was not wordy. Ukinikosea, that is how I go. I would hit you because that is something I'm familiar with. If we have a disagreement, we don't have an agreement at all. So inaishia tu hapo. Because that is something I saw. So you don't talk about it. And that majorly contributed to me not talking to them. We were not best of friends. So I was not able to tell them that, "Mom, Dad, do you know this happened? Is it right?" How can I even start? I was not able to talk back at my, not when we are happy, not when we are sad. Hakuna hiyo opportunity. Ati tumebambika sasa unasema vitu. Wewe. My mom kwanza alikuanga ule msee siku nye amekasirika sasa ndo zinaletwa zote. So take care of your mouth, eh? Do not mention anything. So I didn't completely talk. That affected me. I would have spoken about a lot of things. They would have shielded me from a lot of things. But they didn't have the power, one, because I didn't tell them. It was my choice to tell them. That was the one choice I had. That anything is happening to me, I have a right to tell them. But I didn't. So they didn't know. Somebody else should take care of their children. Listen to them. Give them time. But right now, my brother and my sister, they are able. I can say anything. But I'm like, what did you say? Okay, I'm so sorry. Because in that same age, akisikuwa naongea. Hata ule brother wangu extrovert, he was not able to say anything. Yeye zake zilikuwa zinaambiangwa nje, you know, neighbors. Paka mwangu anamuza vitu za nyumba zikae kwa nyumba. So, you know, alafu you know that rule. Ukifanya makosa ni kiboko. Okay, my mom was not that kind of. My mom was like, we can talk. Najua. So I mean, these are two people parallel. Huyu kiboko. Huyu anaweza kuongelesha. So si tukalini kwa mama. Juu mama anaweza kuongelesha. And by the way, you are like, by the way, if I would have done that differently, then I would not have been hit. And for some reasons, over the years, my mother has been a good influence. There was a day when I ran from home because I was afraid I'm going to be beaten. Because tulikuwa nimefanya makosa usiku. Dada akasema wacha tuamke kesho. Unajua tu hata asemangi maneno nyingi. Unajua tu kesho ni kuvunjwa. Nikapanga vitu niko na kesho inakaribia. Saa 6 imefika, kesho inakaribia at 4. Nikachukua vitu nikakanyanga. Nikaenda. So asubuhi akiamka wako like, where is she? Kazi nangu ananiambia nilisikia mtu akifungua mlango. I just went. Alafu nikiwa huko sana najiambia, akina venye mimi ni mwerevu. Sinirudi nimalize shule. I was in form 2. Kai. Acha tu nirudi nimalize shule. Wamenitafuta. That was love actually. Wamenitafuta. Hawakunipata, mimi nilijipata, nikarudi home. And the next thing my mom says, let us just talk to her. And that conversation changed everything. So I finished school. But right now he's such a person those children really want to become. Because he reasons with you. He asks you questions. You answer back. He tells you, you should have done this. Si atienda ufanye, you know. Even if something happens between him and my mom, hata utajua. Unlike before, wanaenda huko and they just iron things out. First, I want to say that sexual abuse is not a cliche as much as it happens all the time. So it happened to me when I was a child. So I'm in a family of, we are 6, all of us, including my parents and my 3 beautiful siblings. I was not aware of what was happening, but I have a pictographic mind. I can remember pictures of what happened. And sometimes even when I'm using that memory right now, it feels like it's not a reality, but it is something that happened. So on this particular day, this nanny comes, she undresses, and she puts me on top of her. So something that came out of that is that I knew I was a boy. That's what I knew. Because it's only boys who do that, yeah. I was 4. I was so small, really. So I didn't know what was going on. And so it was like an everyday incident. But one thing, I don't blame my parents because they were outside going to look for food, but they would have asked what was happening, or they would have a conversation with me. If they would have had a conversation with me, that would trigger me to communicate of what was happening to me, but they didn't. So it happened for quite some time. So we stayed with the nanny for about 8 months. 8. So what I remember, she was just mourning, but I didn't know what that was because she was mourning, like screaming and calling my name, you know. So I thought it was normal, maybe. So every time my mother and father came in the evening, they used to bring us crepes. And you were tired, you could just go and sleep, and the next day it happens again. The nanny removes clothes. I'm seeing her naked. She puts me on top of her again, and she's like pushing me up and down. Yeah, so I didn't know, truly, I insist. So when she went, at the time when she went, I had friends, playmates. I introduced the same thing to them, and I didn't know. I thought it was how things go. My parents didn't know anything, so that was the first incident. We were friends, we would play together, and every time we would play, I would tell them what my auntie, we would practice what my auntie was teaching me. And for me, because I thought now I was a boy, I would dominate, I would teach girls. Like I would use girls with me. Because I didn't know the difference for one. The second one, I was doing all the roles that boys would do. I didn't have dolls. I would not even imagine myself with a doll playing. How? This went on for as long as a year before I was fully going to school. The behavior faded, but now the disorientation didn't fade because I really suffered. Now instead of loving the practice, I shunned away from it completely. I would not stand to see anyone without clothes anymore. I hate it. It disgusts me up to now. Yeah. I was taken to boarding school, Form 1, but I could not stand it. First it was a girls' school. And as I said, I didn't like seeing anyone naked at all costs. So I was just sick, I was depressed, and my parents could not understand because I was not talking to them. I didn't talk anything. So you can imagine just the situation piling up every now and then. So I went to this school. It was girls only. Girls were not afraid of one another. They would just go to the bathroom to shower, of course. So what I did, it's either I wake up very early or later when everyone has gone to class. That's when I go to shower. It reminded me of the picture of my nanny. And I wouldn't want to see anyone naked. It just really disgusted me at the time. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted to study and get out of school. Yeah, so my parents decided to take me to a day school. I was doing well, very well in day school. Now I'm coming to campus. The attention is shifting from me being dominant. Now I'm supposed to be somehow submissive, you know, the ladylike. You're supposed to behave like a lady, like present yourself as a lady. You know what I mean? I used to stay in my room like most of the time because I imagine if I just get outside, somebody will need to talk to me and I know the conversation. And I'm telling you, like, I have pictographic mind. So if you repeat the same thing, I'm just bored. I'm like, okay, yeah, fine, thank you. Let me go. So that was happening most of my time in campus. And people viewed me as an angry, sad child. Yeah. And there are a lot of things. So, you know, in high school, when I used to hear stories about lecturers and staff asking students to go out with them. I thought it was a lie. Until now, it just happened to me. I was staying with my siblings. My siblings had come to visit me that moment. And then that day, I decided that I want to go and seek job. I was going to teach a student. So I go to teach. When I'm coming back, I find my brother with two men. One is my neighbor who doesn't like me at all, because the reason being, I refuse to go to his house. So these are two men. And the other one now is a UN staff. Yes, they are standing with my brother. So I come and inquire. So they tell me that the electricity bill is up and I need to pay. So I told him I need to take my brother somewhere. When I come back, if I have money, I'm going to send it to you. So we agreed. So I took my brothers out, then I came back. When I came back, I figured I didn't have the money. So out of goodwill, I decided to go to his house. And I told him, I'm so sorry, I was not able to get the money in time. But I'm going to work so that on Monday next week, I will give you the money. We talked about a lot of things. He showed me his wife. He talked about his 28, 29-year-old son. He praised himself. And out of all those, he also talked about a girl who went reporting that they were having an affair or something. So I was sympathizing with this man, actually. I'm so sorry. So we talked for a while, almost an hour plus, because I went there at 6:26 and I got out at 8:40. I was not with him alone. There was an electrician in the house. So after that, after being threatened that I'm supposed to submit the key by Tuesday, I'm given 3 days to vacate. Yeah, I don't have anywhere to go. I told him, I will give you in 3 days. So I come home, I am so scared because one, where will I go? Two, I don't have a good job that I can say I'm going to stay outside. Just then my phone rings. He's calling. So something, just an intuition, just record. So I decide that I'm going to record this conversation. I record it. So he's saying that we need to talk. He was saying in Swahili, tunahitaji kuzungumza, sijui tukizungumza vizuri, tutapata kuelewana. So I thought maybe it's about his house is vacant. He can give me his house, okay? So I'm there. Then at some point, when he mentioned I'm going to give you a plot, I'm like, oh, so it's not the normal conversation. This is something way expensive. So I kept on telling him, we'll talk tomorrow, we'll talk tomorrow. That's all I was saying, because I was not in a good position to say anything. So I was just, we'll talk tomorrow. And he was insisting, what time? So I told him, tomorrow is on a Sunday. I'm going to church. After which, you can call. So he said he will call at 12. We agreed. That's after being promised that he'll give me a plot, he'll give me a good life, I will never suffer. And even his house that I'm supposed to pay a deposit of a double 7,000, that is 14,000, I will not pay. I'll just pay the first installment and that's it. Only if I agree to be his girlfriend. And the messages and the audio finish by him saying, God bless you. God bless you. So the first action I did, I sent this recording to 2 people. A friend of mine who stays in school, a lecturer, she's a lady, and the other one I sent to my friend. And they were also surprised. So my friend, who is a lecturer, decided to relocate me to a more safer place. So the next day I waited for his call. I didn't tell my parents again. I didn't tell my parents at the time because I was like, my dad will be like, we are going to report that guy to the DCI. No, I'm not telling my parents are using. So, and then I just stayed and waited for his call. He never called. He never called that day. The next day he came to my house with 2 security, telling them to kick me out. So I told them, like now I was bold enough. I had acquired power somehow. Because by talking to my lecturer friend, this lady, and my friend, I was able to know that I have power over this person. Like he can do anything. He doesn't have any power, for God's sake. That is a government university. He doesn't own anything. So why should you feel threatened? First, I felt offended. What did he see? What did he see in me that made him think like that? He's supposed to guide me. He's supposed to show me the way on how to do things. But he's one person who's very old. Even he has a problem with walking. So I'm like, oh my God, this is just super. This is a dream. Is it because you're so wealthy? Why am I in school? For God's sake, I'm even smaller than your own son. So how would you say those things to me? I'm supposed to be a child to you, a person you can protect. He wants to take advantage because I'm in need, and I need a way out as fast as possible. Now, him taking, maybe I'm not the first one, because if he's promising me all these things, maybe there is somebody else who is a victim of him. Yes, another student. And yet I was there sympathizing with him. Oh, I'm so sorry. How could someone do that to you? For God's sake, he's a married man. And no, funny enough, I got even the courage to send him a message. I told him, I am not coming to your house. And it's so unfortunate because you wanted to help me so that I may be your girlfriend. I may be a girlfriend to a married man with a son who is older than me. So maybe you should think. And that is the message he came showing people. Look at this girl, what is she saying? She's such a bad person. So one thing I want to say, because sometimes it's not our fault, but sometimes it is. We are forced to make decisions out of our will. First, you are very scared of this person. What is he going to do? Is he going to hurt me? Will he? No, don't think of those. Just walk away. Just walk away is fast, so that you have time of your own to think. There is nothing free in this world. Whether you like it or not, there is nothing. It will just come around like this, catching up with you. When I enrolled in campus, I went direct to the computer because I wanted to watch movies in English. I wanted to learn English. That was the only reason. So I went to watch, and I used to take notes. So I'm in the library, imeandikwa vizuri, no entertainment. And then the librarian ananikuta, I'm watching movies. I'm so comfortable, niko na watch, na niko na pen. I have a pen. So she asked, what are you doing? Didn't you read? I said, yes, I read. But I'm not entertaining myself. I'm learning English. She left me there and there. So I used to learn English. I used to write words, get familiar with them. And then I wanted to test myself if I'm able to really speak English. I joined a church specifically because there was a white lady in the church. So the first time she spoke, I'm like, what? And then she's just speaking slowly. Now that bothered me because that meant I was not listening very well. So I went back and forth, until I was able to speak to this lady. I'm like, hallelujah, I can do this. So I was able to speak to her and she responded. We were in understanding. So that was a plus for me. So, but one thing was missing. I knew I was not confident. I was very shy. I could not stand even before anyone. And I knew one thing too, that dream of my mother was slowly going away. And I didn't have a way of telling them that, Mom, now, this is what has happened. I had to show them slowly. Because when they took me to the university, they wanted me to, because I didn't have enough cluster to go and do medicine. So I went to do teaching, mathematics and chemistry, majorly. Chemistry should get me to medicine or pharmacy. So mimi niko hapa tu shule nasema tu, "What? Mom, Dad, sorry." Yeah, my heart is in film, but I don't know how to tell them. I don't want them to feel like I went to the university to bring them the certificate. I went to these auditions in 2018. We were on long holiday, so I lied to, Dad, I lied to my parents, like we were opening school earlier. Auditions were supposed to happen on 24th. So I was here on 23rd. 24th, I went to auditions. Nairobi Performing Arts and Studio. Kenya National Theatre. And then I just knew I messed up because I was scared. I was shaky. My voice was shaky. The next day I'm called. You have passed the auditions. Now you need to pay. Kumbe it was drama school. Maybe I didn't know. So you need to pay this. I'm like, okay, now what? God, I don't have any money. I cannot call my parents to tell them that, Dad, Mom, I need money to go and do film. How do I start? Kama hii university imekuwa shida. Like, how do I start? So the next day I just went to church. We were supposed to enroll on 5th. That was on a Tuesday. Then a pastor approached me. And he asked me, what is wrong? Nothing. I just asked what is wrong because your face is everything. So I told him, hey, I've really been wanting to do this. I want to be an actor and a script writer. And if I can learn even directing, that would be better. Now I got this opportunity that I'm supposed to attend. The classes begin on Tuesday. That's where we are introduced to the teachers, other classmates, and the like. But now there's a problem. Every semester we are paying 13,500, one that I don't have any. And then he told me, just go home. I can't go home because I want to go to that school and I don't have money. So he insisted, go home. I went back on campus. The next day he called, please, can we meet at Prestige? Okay. I went to Prestige and was given a check of 13,500, go to school. Just like that. So I went to this school and I met people who have been involved more than one time in drama. They have acted before. They have experiences like I don't have any. So I was the weakest. So we started a journey. I went through acting school. And let me tell you the truth, the only thing that I came out with was confidence. that was the only thing. I was able to talk. The current Farb, you should ask my teacher, why I'm not the same, like I've changed completely. So that was one, confident. So as others were familiar with acting, so they would get jobs as fast, not like I was. So I used to inquire most of the time. I'm promised, please send me your name, your ID, your years, your acting age, you know, all those details. We'll call you. Ha! Kenyans, hapo kwa kucall. I waited. Not once, not twice. So I decided to go to some auditions. They were failures like most of them. But this one, I really remember. What happened, I went for auditions. I was auditioning with, I was given a partner. That partner of mine was light-skinned. So me tunishado hapo. So I was given that partner. So we went to audition. We were told to practice, to do a dance, to sing. Yeah. And then after that, we were told to wait just there. You are given the results there and then. So they talked to her. They were asking her, can you go to Malindi? Do you have children? Like, how do you plan on leaving them? So I knew she had been taken, which was okay with me, but it was not when she said that role needed a light skin. And I quote, she said, "You're too black for that role. You are too black for that role." That is what she said. I remember very clearly. So my only fault or flaw is to be black. Surely my self-esteem was so low that day. I felt like maybe light-skinned were better people. You are coming from a person who's very shy to confident. And then somebody tells you that you are not this, or you are supposed to have a familiar look so that you have a job in the market. So my self-esteem was so low. I didn't go to any other auditions. I just had to stay on my own because I knew if I go, then my skin color will betray me. So then and there, that's when I decided, little by little, I have to try. It's not because I will do it, I just have to try. So in school, I decided to create an ensemble, a cast, so that would act very short clips. It failed. Failed so many times. I was so frustrated. And then a friend of mine told me, just give it a break. I'm like, yeah, so why should I give it a break? I'm having these dreams. I can't even breathe, you know. Like, I really need to do this. I have to. She told me, you have to take a break. And then Corona ni nani? COVID came. That was certainly a good break. I had 7 months to think, to really think and watch as much and just be encouraged. And then when we opened school, I got a friend. So we decided that we were going to do something. So I told her, we don't have resources. We are only going to use my phone to shoot. I don't know how to edit. So I came and just sat there. Then another guy came. He doesn't know how to edit. And he's so good at saying, I know how to edit. I will help you. So he goes at night. Ameenda kupractice sasa kuedit. We shoot a video the next day. And then I told him the deadline is tomorrow at 12. Because I know he knows how to edit. So he's really shaking. I'm like, what is it? And nothing. The video will be up at 12. So that's how we came up with Zora. And we started acting slowly by slowly. And even on his side, he was learning how to edit. So that was a rise for me. What I am doing right now, it is my prayer. I have been researching on Philippines so much. There was a day I went to their embassy to ask about the GMA. It's an agency that releases films. We watch most of their films so many times. So an idea came up. What if we do an interracial film between the Philippines and Kenya? Because we watch most of their films. And even at a point, there's some point where they say some names from Kenya. Yeah. So what if we do that? So I got to Percy Intalan, that is a director from the Philippines of Ideal First Company. So he said that I should be on display before he can come to me. So Percy, if you ever watch this, I'll make sure you do. Please, it's my desire to work with you on the pitch that I've been talking to you about. I have it. I have written it. It is in written form. Hopefully we'll work together. I also want to say thank you to Lynn. There's Lynn Ngugi of Tuko. She's an empowerment. She has really been helping me out. I just want to say thank you to Lynn. So majorly, I just want to say, whatever parents do, anything, whether small or big, somebody will emulate. Something that my siblings have adopted from my father is that my dad can wake up in the morning na afagie compound. So they're like, so it is possible. So just tulikuwa tunatuangu nimesema fagia. But now when you are seeing, those people wanachukuanga kifagio and they sweep, you know, because dad does. Mom does.